Hello, welcome back to Cam's Classics. First off, we want to apologize for not having a video on Friday. The reason for that is we were doing some other stuff, helping some friends with the roof, a few other things. So we wasn't here working in the shop, so we didn't have a video for that. Today, I do need to change the oil in my daily driver, but in order to do that, I need the lift that the Firebird is on. We got all the work done. We're going to see if it will, under its own power, move off the lift. So here we go. So here's what we're going to be working on. It's a 2022 Ram 1500 Ecodiesel. We got to change the oil with it. Very much love it. It's the Laramie edition. I'm going to show you the few things I don't like, which is in the common maintenance stuff. So let's pull it up on the lift and I'll show you what we got. Go up with it. So for a half-ton truck, it is fairly heavy due to the diesel engine, and it is a small engine, which is weird. But it is a diesel. It's averaging right around 29 miles a gallon, which is very nice. I drive about 100 miles a day, so that helps with the fuel bill. Okay, let's go under here, we'll flip our light on. So here is one of the things I do not like. We put the drain plug just, I mean, if they would have come back an inch, then it would have been right in between these. but it's just right enough in this cross member right here that you have to put something in there. So let me show you what we do. Some of you will say there is a adapter that you put in there. This has a 10,000 mile oil change. Here's the other thing I don't like, is instead of just replacing the filter element, these ones you have to replace the entire housing. It makes these filters, the MSRP on them I believe is about $150. I buy them online and they're nowhere near that, but still you're talking, instead of a $10 to $20 filter, you're still $50. And all it is because they molded that so that it doesn't come out, instead of just having this come off and replace this in the, like they did in the previous generations. So we'll set this aside till we need it. So here's what I found works. You take your filter box and shove this up in here. It makes it a little more difficult to get to the drain plug, but grab some rubber gloves real quick before I have oil all over me. Because it's a little tight to get in there, so I guess if you had little hands you can go through there, but said, get oil all over me. Okay, so this does take 10 quarts oil, so it's going to take a little bit to drain that out of there. So we'll come back to you when we are ready to put the drain plug back in. We'll have to find it. It can't go down. There's a screen, but we'll have to wait for the oil to drain out because it's up to about here. So we'll let that go and we'll come back to you when we're ready. Thanks. Okay, so it's basically just a mild drip now. So we're ready to put the, we got the drain plug dug out of the oil here. Again, this is a pain in the butt because it's hard to get to. Everything's covered in oil, and again, ½ inch back and this would have been an easy job. So we just drop that in there, take our rag and wipe off. Sealing area. Okay.
Right under the deal there. Yeah.
That is basically the bottom side. None of the ball joints or anything have Zerk fittings on them. I will show you this. This is another thing I don't like. Right here's the fuel filter. They changed it in 2022. Before this screwed off, again, canister type filter, you just put the filter in. This you have to replace the whole piece. That means undoing all the fuel lines, electrical wires, and they recommend doing that every 20,000 miles. I've done that once and didn't get the high pressure line on all the way. So there's 2 clicks to put it on. I only got it the first click and thought I had it on. The keeper actually dropped and fell into place like it should. Going down the road, it ran about a half mile just fine, and then it starts bucking and doing all this stuff. By the time I got home, you could follow the trail from where I'd been. Probably lost 6 to 7 gallons of fuel. According to my computer monitor, this puts out about 20,000 PSI. So it's very high pressure, which is what diesel requires. But that's the other thing I don't like. The one thing I did do is they did put a screw on this. You can see kind of this little nipple right here. That is the water separator. So they kind of recommend that you open that, get a little of the fuel out. Once it starts coming full fuel, then you're fine. There's no water in your fuel. So that is one thing with diesel, is you don't want any water in the fuel. So we're ready to let this down and we'll do the filter. So the oil filter is actually really accessible, just right here on top. Let me see if I can remember what size that is, and we'll give her a swap out. Oh, bigger. Too big. That one right there. And so it takes just under 10 quarts. It is a diesel engine, but it takes European. So it's a 5W40. But you have to use this European blend. This engine, I believe, is made by Fiat. Could be wrong, but I believe it's made by Fiat. And so it uses the European specs. There's 2 O-rings on this, so you like to go ahead and lube up both of them. There's no point in trying to fill it because to put it in you have to flip it upside down, so there's no point in trying to put oil in it to begin with. I mean, it is nice to do it that way, but it'd be just as nice if the filter didn't cost so much. Having it this way with the replacing the whole thing. There is a torque spec on this. The problem is, as you can see, I have to use such a big socket, and the torque spec's something like 25 Newton meters. So your big torque wrenches don't go to that, so you have to use the little 3/8. So then you have to use adapters, and it's like, are you really actually getting a good torque spec on it anyway? So what I like to do is just, you can feel it when it tightens. Give it just a little bit and call it good. And we're ready to put the oil in. It is a full synthetic. These have 10,000 mile oil changes, which is nice. The oil's not real expensive, like $24 for one of these jugs. So all in all, this oil change costs about $75. If you took it to the dealer, you're probably looking at somewhere around $200. Because they're going to charge you for the oil filter, they're going to charge you more for this oil. It's just about 9 1/4 quarts. I think we'll be good there. I'll come back and wipe that off after we make sure we're good. fired up. And our dipstick is kind of a pain. It's right down in here. And looks like we're good. We're right about to the top of the hatch mark, so we'll wipe this off. We usually fill up our window washer fluid while we're at that point, but we're completely out at the moment. We have some coming, but make sure we don't have any oil around here. Looks good. Don't see any drips on the floor, so that's how you change the oil in a Ecodiesel Ram 1500. That's what we got for today. This had to be done. We're still waiting on a few parts for our other stuff. Our frame, we're going to be hopping on that probably next week. Putting the front and rear suspension on that. You can see we have a few. Like I said, this isn't the final. We got a few, spots in it, but you're not going to see that when we sand it off to prime. So nice, black, shiny. We'll get the rear end put in it, front end put in it, then we can move it around. Got the engine transmission. We do have a new rear of the cab we're going to be putting on this. So once we get it moving around, then we can put the cab on and finish the cab. 442, we're getting it close to ready to paint. We're going to probably a few more weeks on that and it'll be going to paint. We'll make sure and film that for you. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.